Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and I just wanted to get on here first before the real video starts to give y'all a glimpse into what's happening right now. It has not been sunny at all today. It is after 7 o'clock p.m., and now the sun is out. And I'm just like, why? Now, it's felt amazing. When I did go out, it felt really good. So I didn't even need to turn on my air conditioning. So I am grateful for that. I am very grateful for that. But yeah, the sun is actually out now. And I'm like, why? Why? I just don't understand. It is randomly out now and it's after 7. And I'm just like, why are you out now? Anyway, y'all, I'll be back. Bye. Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and it is really, really late. Whew. I've had a long day. I went and ran some errands, and I went and spent a little while with one of my friends. So I wasn't able to just be at the house all day watching stuff and making videos. So I'm trying to at least get this one video up. We'll see if I can get through this video so that it can happen. All right, y'all. So this is the season finale of Pose, and it opened with Blanca being in her apartment doing her nails because, as we all know, her business was set ablaze by Frederica, whether she wants to admit it or not. So I'm just glad that she has the following that she does from her loyal customers, and they are willing to go wherever she is, no matter where it is. So we saw her, she was finishing up a client's nails, and she was not looking like herself, and she started coughing, and immediately I was just like, oh no. So, something has changed. She is obviously experiencing a drop in her T cells. So tell me why she looks up. And I ain't gonna lie, I initially thought, I was like, watch, she's getting close to death's door, and it's candy appearing to her, as she's done to other people who are nearing death's door. But it wasn't, and I'm glad I was wrong. It was Pray Tell. Y'all, Blanca and Pray Tell have not spoken to one another, said anything to one another, seen one another in 8 to 9 months. So, she was like, you don't have an appointment. And he was like, I heard you're taking walk-ins. So they were happy to see one another and embrace one another. And they started talking, and I was just like, oh my gosh. Y'all, so, trying to play catch up, and was like, how are the kids doing? And everybody's doing good. Damon is touring. He is doing amazingly well. He is currently in Paris. Angel and Poppy are still doing well on their own. And, at least that's as much as Blanca knows at the time. So, yeah, they are playing catch up. So I'm like, yay. And, she hasn't been to the balls in a while. And I guess, of course it's because of the falling out that she had with Pray Tell. So she hasn't been there, and, everything that was going on with her personally as far as her shop was concerned. So I think it just made it easier for her to just not show her face and not really have to worry about it, because it's like, you the one who is hosting, and we ain't cool no more. I'm not coming. And my kids ain't here. So she kind of didn't really see a reason to even show up outside of her beef with Prey. So yeah, y'all. She starts going into this coughing fit. And then the next thing we know, she's in the hospital, hooked up to stuff, and got an oxygen mask. Well, an oxygen line hooked up to her. She looking rough. I'm looking like, oh no, don't even try this. Don't even sit up here and kill her. Don't do this. I can't do it. Candy's death was enough. All these other people who had passed away, it was way more than enough. Please stop. I don't have time. So she in the hospital looking rough. I'm like, oh Lord. So Pray Tell is in there. And I think at the moment, he's the only one who knows, because he was with her when it happened. And, of course, Nurse Judy. So she eventually tells him to look in her purse and pull out this list that she has. And it's a list where she is outlining all the things that she wants everybody to get, because y'all know how people get when people die. They act a fool and want to fight over stuff. So yeah, Pray Tell read the list, and she left some stuff to him too or whatever. And so he was basically trying to encourage her to live on and fight, because that's what she did for him when he was in his moment of need and in the hospital and going through. Okay, so apparently Elektra hasn't even been to the balls lately, and I'm just looking like, what? Y'all, I can't. So she ain't been there in months either. And she ended up telling them, like, look, ain't nobody got time, and it's male dominated, and it ain't right when everything happened with Vogue. Y'all put all y'all's focus and energy into the guys, and y'all like to try to read us down and judge us when y'all don't know our struggle. Y'all don't know what we've gone through, and we don't have proper representation up there, so it's not fair. And y'all are looking at it one-sided, and it's just male dominated, and it's not fair. So Pray Tell actually sat there, he thought about that, and he was like, I think I'm gonna bring this to the MCs. So yeah, he did take it to the MCs at their next meeting, and they were about to adjourn, and he was like, well, actually, before we adjourn, I want to bring up something. And it was brought to my attention that we don't include the women as we should, and we judge them and all this other stuff. And at first a lot of them were just like, well, I mean, that's what they actually are there for, is to be judged or whatever. And he was just like, you know what I mean, or whatever. And they kind of were like, well, what if we pull a stunt? And so they were looking like, okay, pull a stunt, how? So they want to do like this butch queen, feminine, drag queen realness type of category, and nobody will know outside of the people in that room and one other person, which later on we find out is Elektra. So it got to a point where it's like you could tell that Pray Tell was kind of like, I don't know if we should do it like that, because they might look at it as you're trying to mock us, and I don't want it to be like that. So he eventually agreed to it, and they're gonna kind of try to set the tone and let them know that their voices can be heard, and that they do see them, and they do want to treat the women not in the way that they have before, and they just want to read them down to the ground and just make it seem like, oh well, who are you, and we're men. And how I don't know whether you're a man or woman, how it is when it comes to men versus women. There are times that people will overlook a woman when a woman is in the middle of talking, just to see what a man is going to say, even if he ain't got nothing to say at all. I have had that happen to me so many times. And when I became older and it happened to me, it angered me to a point where I had to walk away, because I was going to go off. And I never knew that something like that was brewing inside of me, but I had to learn that that's what it was. And despite how many times in history, way before I was born, way before my mama's mama, and all the rest of them were even born, there have been situations where women were really the ones who were bringing situations to the forefront, that were doing certain things that needed to be done, but men were getting the credit for it. Women were always being looked over. And I don't like that. And it still is something that happens today. Y'all can see Exhibit A is who? Donald Trump. Anyway, back to the show, because ain't nobody got time for that foolishness. So Angel has not been getting work for quite a while, and she ended up going down to Mrs. Ford's office, and she was talking to her. She actually was in a meeting with two young girls, and sent them off to go get tea in some conference room. So she was talking to her and was like, what's going on? I haven't had work in a while. What's going on with that? So she was like, well, Well, I didn't call you or anything because I needed to basically get confirmation. I need to get all my information together. So she, was looking like, okay, well, what you talking about? So her biggest fear was happening, and somebody dropped a dime and clocked her and ended up telling somebody, and it got to the right people, or really the wrong people in a sense, and it trickled down to Mrs. Ford. And they were looking like, okay, what are you talking about? And they were sitting up there like, look, this is, the situation. She's not who we thought she was. And they ended up pulling all of Angel's contracts. She had so many contracts. She had so much work. They pulled all that stuff. All that stuff was obsolete. They ain't care nothing about her no more. It was just like, oh, well, we see you as a fake, a fraud, a phony. Nah, you misrepresented who you were trying to give us as somebody to work for us. And so it made the company look bad in a sense. So they just kind of threw her by the wayside. And I'm like, man, you could have at least called her and like just straight up asked her. And since you loved her so much, why couldn't you go to bat for her? Like, that's the one thing. I understand that people don't want to go against the grain. And a lot of this stuff was happening earlier on. And I understand that at that moment, because that was the early 90s. At that time, I think it was 1991. So, I get it, but in a sense, you could tell by her work that she was really out here putting her feet to the pavement, and she was giving everybody everything and then some as far as what they wanted. So why are you sitting up there like, oh, okay, well, I can't really fool with her no more. And then you couldn't even have the common courtesy to call her and be like, look, I heard some things and what's going on with that, and try to figure out another way to market her. You just sat back there and didn't say nothing. And that I didn't like that. So anyway, she ended up going home. She was in her feelings. Poppy got off work and came home. And then that's when she broke the news to him and, basically was like, somebody, from the ball. It is crazy because it's somebody from the ballroom scene that was working one of the shoots. He rolled up on her and was like, I saw you when you were doing this realness. And then like certain things that this person said, it made her just be like, whoa, wait a minute. This person know me from the ballroom scene. But I guess, and he kind of made it seem like he was so in awe of the things that she was doing. And, oh, you're doing this for the community. Oh, you're doing this for the ballroom scene. But he was sitting up there telling people, getting in people's ear about how she was. And because of his position, he was like, I guess hair and makeup or something. They didn't really care about all of that. As long as you behind the camera, they didn't care nothing about what they was doing. As long as you're not the face of something that is a part of a big company like that, they didn't care nothing about your sexual orientation or whatever, anything as far as that was concerned. So he was sitting up there telling people, and she said they kept showing where she had moments where after he approached her and said what he said, she would kind of look up while she was in the middle of working and see him like whispering in somebody's ear and whispering in somebody else's ear. And so she just didn't really think nothing of it at first, but then it hit her in that moment. She boohoo cried in that woman's lap. I was like, oh my gosh, Angel, no. But yeah, like I was saying, she went home and then Poppy came home and she told him what happened. And y'all, Poppy kills me with his unwavering support of Angel. He kept trying to encourage her despite how she felt. She feels like it's over. And in his mind, he's like, you're a model. I know you got at least 10 more years, as far as the shelf life is considered. And because she's like, 24 or something like that. And so she was just like, no, it's over. I got clocked. And so, he was like, you have to watch me work. So yeah, it's a lot going on, y'all. I was just like, oh my gosh, y'all. So anyway, back at the hospital. Come to find out, Blanca has pneumonia and she has an infection. And so she's been coughing, but the coughing has stopped. But Judy told her that there is still an infection that's present. So she's going to have to stay in there a little bit longer. And of course, she's trying to figure out, how much longer does she really have to stay? And she's just like, with what you have, there's no telling. how much longer you actually have and all that. And so, she's kind of discouraged, which I can fully understand. But she's trying to stay hopeful. But at this point, it's just kind of like I've done what I could do, and I don't know what else to do at this point. So yeah, y'all. She was like, well, do you think it has anything to do with the chemicals that I use? And she was like, yeah, that probably is a big part of it, but you might need to think of retiring, changing your profession or something. I was like, oh Lord, that's what she do. Like, that's her bread and butter. So I don't know about all that. Y'all, Poppy set it off quick, fast, and in a hurry. He went and made business cards and brought them home. And she was just looking like, okay, what is this? And so he basically is marketing himself as a talent scout over a talent agency. And the way he's going to spin it is he's only going to represent trans women, people in the community, people like, especially like in the ballroom scene, and who have been at the piers like Angel was, who look like her and have gone through the same struggles as she's been through, and be able to market them to different brands, different people, so that they can get on like she did. So he went to various people trying to actually get them to become a part of it, to be people who he represents. And a lot of people are not here for it. And they just see him as the street thug who is out to manipulate people and, just the old Poppy. Even though you can tell that he has changed. So, the recruitment didn't go so well. Y'all, Frederica got arrested. Frederica got arrested for the arson, and of course, she's so dumb. Somebody saw her leaving the building, so they saw that she was the one who burned the place down. And she got her lawyer, talking to her lawyer while she in prison, jail, or wherever she at the moment. And she was like, you need to get me out of here. This don't make no sense. And, she, of course, trying to say all the right things to not just flat out say I did it or whatever. But then she kind of realizes that she probably ain't gonna get out. So she was like, that's not fair. This is just because I'm a woman. A woman can't have dreams and all this other stuff. The only thing that I regret is basically trying to say, if I did do it, the only thing I do regret is that I damaged or ruined the dreams of another woman, referring to Blanca. And I'm like, oh, you recognize her as a woman now. You're actually acting like you got some sense after you done got locked up. Okay. So I was like, oh, okay. But she said that she would gladly do the time for that, but everything else, she ain't got time for that. And I was like, I can't believe she even said that. So anyway, y'all, Elektra is giving out heel walking lessons. All the MCs, a few people from her house and all that, they are at her house and they all have on heels and they are trying to learn how to strut and walk in them. Pray tell, I cannot. I cannot. Like, and it got to the point where when he was trying to walk, it was just terrible. And you know how fierce Elektra can be. You know how quick-witted she can be. Pray tell was not here for it. He took them heels off and left. And Ricky ended up walking behind her. Ricky did pretty well considering. I was like, oh, okay. A lot of them MCs did not know how to walk very well. And I was like, oh gosh. So, they are trying to prep for that part that's going to randomly appear during the next ball. So, yeah. So when Pray Tell left, Ricky came behind him outside and gave him wisdom and encouragement. And I was like, oh, look at you. So that was an interesting scene. And he actually did share within that same moment how when he was younger, his father was abusing him. It went from slaps to punches, beatings, and all the other stuff. Like everything started to gradually progress as he got older in the way that his father would hit and abuse him. into thinking that, oh, if I beat him, I'm going to beat the gay out of him. I'm going to make a man out of him by beating him. And I don't understand why people, especially men, these fathers, think that that's what's going to help, or the mothers as well. But a lot of men that have done that, I don't understand why they think that that is what is going to make your child somehow not be gay anymore. I'm just like, it just is what it is. I don't understand. But yeah, he shared that with Ricky, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't. But yeah, Poppy ended up in the end going to Miss Ford and representing himself, and basically presenting himself as this businessman. Told her what his vision was, and at first she seemed very skeptical, but then she was like, you know what, I'm gonna offer you up a cubicle, a phone line, and my watchful eye. And basically, if he can land something within 2 weeks, then she will give his idea and company, agency, all that good stuff, glance over. She'll think about it. She will consider a partnership. Okay, y'all. So Blanca is doing so much better that she is about to check out of the hospital. Y'all, she walking down the hall with Nurse Judy talking to her. And then somebody come in, and I'm looking, because I think I had my glasses on at the time. I was like, who did I put my glasses on? It's Damon. Y'all know Damon was in Paris. So I was like, oh, that's Damon. Y'all, I got so happy for her. That boy came running down the hallway. He was like, oh my gosh. And, she was like, what are you doing here? And he was like, they told me what happened. I came as fast as I could. I'm sorry I couldn't get here as soon as I could. And she was like, this is perfect time, and I'm about to get out today. So they called up one another. Y'all, Damon has his own house in Paris. He is a father. He is a house father in Paris. I was like, y'all, oh my gosh, it's just too much. And he is still getting so many amazing opportunities, even though he's doing that, and he's still touring and like all that. So she looking at him like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you. And he actually encouraged her and all that. And he was like, I'm just taking things from you. And, you still have a lot that you have to do here. I'm taking bits and pieces from you and taking it over there to Paris with me to share with other people. And so she was like, well, like, how much more time do I have with you? And he was like, long enough for me to take you and, you be my date for the mother's ball. Because y'all know the mother of the year is coming up and all that good stuff. So I can't. Oh, Lord. So y'all, the day of the ball happens and they do runway. Of course, the House of Wind Tour wins. They did Realness, the House of Wind Tour won, and that was the category that Elektra actually won, and they did Vogue. And this other house won because they were trying to figure out, was it going to be a sweep? So, of course, it wasn't that day because another house won. I think it was Candy's house won, the House of Ferocity. So the girl who did Vogue, she was so happy. She was like, I'm doing this for my mother, Candy. And then Prey was like, we all love Candy. I was like, oh, y'all. So anyway, at some point in time, Angel and Poppy were talking and they were having a really amazing moment. And he told her, I got a gig. And so she was like, what? Because like this literally all just happened. Just had the meeting with Miss Ford, all that. And he was like, I got it. And so she was like, I'm like, what, who, what, where? So it's some place over in Germany that wants her to do an ad and all this other stuff. And they got to get on a plane to go to Berlin or something like that, like the following day, like right now. So I don't know what, she got swept up or whatever, but Angel got swept up in love and just all this positivity going on. And y'all, Esteban, I'm sorry, I had to use his government name on this. Esteban said it all. Like, Poppy just be doing so much that I just be like, I can't believe I'm here for you. I can't believe how here for you I am. Like, he says these things, and I just be like, oh my gosh. Like, this is so much like a fairy tale, y'all. I just can't. Like, he basically was like, you up there, like you're up there, and I'm down here, and I'm just down here just in case you fall, and no matter when you fall, I'm always be here to catch you. And sometimes I want to be up there with, like, he just, y'all, Poppy is everything. Poppy is everything. Anyway, y'all, Angel got swept up in the moment. She'd have sat up there and got down on her knee. I said, girl, what is going on here? She'd have got down on one knee, and he looking like, she in the middle of proposing, and he'd have set it off. He'd have answered before she even hardly got it out there. And then he ended up getting on her knee, and they proposed to one another together. It was so cute. I was like, oh, look at y'all. And like the people that were around, they were like, oh my gosh, that's gonna be a wedding. And somebody was like, we gonna be able to finally plan our first wedding. It went all the way off. So Ricky and Damon had a moment as well, and they're cordial, and I'm glad that Damon has moved on. Ricky, I don't care what nobody say. I just feel like Ricky is just with Pray Tell. Well, I don't know if it's a situation where it started off with I need somewhere to stay, so I'm just gonna screw my way through type of situation or what. But y'all, I can't. So anyway, I guess they might be a real thing now, but they still together. So they had their moments, and he was telling him about his success, and now Ricky actually has a tour he's going on with Paula Abdul, and so they were congratulating one another and saying, oh, well, that's good for y'all, whatever. So I was like, that's pretty mature of them. And then of course he wanted to know what his status was, and he was like, I got tested, I'm fine, I'm negative, I got tested when I went to Paris. And so Ricky was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad, I didn't have a number to reach you at, and I was just worried. So like you could tell he had a sigh of relief, like, ooh, at least all my foolishness didn't rub off on you, because you are really good to me. And I'm glad it didn't either, because I wanted to come through the screen when I found out, because I didn't even want them to be together like that, because he just, anyway, y'all, they did the category of Candy's Sweet Refrain, and tell me why. They had a lot of people to sign up to do it, and Blanca was on the list. Now, Blanca's in a wheelchair, and she doesn't have that much strength, and she has to make sure that she gets up and walks around and do what she needs to do. But she came in a wheelchair that day to the ballroom scene, and Pray Tell was like, we have somebody special here, and I'm gonna pull them up, up to be first on the list tonight, because they've been going through some things, and they had a small little break, but now they're here, and they ended up having her come in. She did Whitney Houston's version of the Star Spangled Banner, I think is what it was. And she did an amazing job. And Pray Tell said it all the way off and was like, look, I ain't got time. I'm sorry. I'm calling it right now. I'm calling it. All y'all can go home. I'm calling it right now. Y'all can go home. And before she even finished, all of the judges had up tens and were getting their entire life because of her performance. And she did an amazing job. So I was like, yes, said it all. Okay, y'all. So Elektra ended up going up to the mic, and that's when the segment came into play, where the MCs and a few of the people from her house and all that, they were doing their segment. Whew, y'all, they had to basically walk a day in the life of the heels of trans women. They had to show their feminine side. They had to dig into their femininity. I don't know why I always mess that up. But anyway, y'all know what I'm saying. Lord. And Pray Tell actually had a problem with that. Even his boyfriend, Ricky, told him, like, you have to be able to tap into your feminine side. Like, I have moments where I even want to do that. So, and he's very scared of it. Y'all, they had everybody coming out at different moments. Y'all, had different people from Electra's house to come out, and you know how those boys do anyway. The boy who be house hopping, or the boys that be house hopping, of course they strutted the runway. They did what they were gonna do anyway. Like, they set it off anyway. I already was expecting nothing less. Y'all, 3 of the MCs came out like they were the Dream Girls, and they some of them couldn't hardly walk in the heels, and the makeup and the wigs and the dresses. I like, 1 or 2 of them looked kind of cute, but the other one, it was just a lot. And I was like, oh gosh. And they got, who was it? Was it Lulu, or one of the other girls from one of the houses I had never really heard of like that, who Elektra ended up asking to come up there and judge during that segment. They gave him like a 6. And so that man got mad. It was like, this is payback. And I was like, oh my God. Y'all, it was good, y'all. They kept showing Pray Tell peeking out through the back right. I was like, wait a minute. Y'all, I saw the wig, like a little bitty piece of the wig. I said, wait a minute now. This look like this finna be a real cute wig he got on. Y'all, when it was his turn to come out, I said, come on, wig. You better come on, wig. Y'all, that makeup was everything. The hair was everything. The outfit was... Y'all, I could have threw the remote at the TV screen. I was like, you better do that. And y'all, I was like, you know you're wrong. Pray Tell tricked me for a second. He made it seem like he couldn't walk in them heels. Then all of a sudden he had the nerve to do a little shimmy. And then he strutted down that runway. He set it all the way off. I was like, yes. Y'all, he did an amazing job. He actually tapped into his feminine side and faced his fears, because he already said before that he had moments where he went from being a sissy and you know, all those words that you really shouldn't even be using in this day and age, but that's what people, a girl, all this stuff that they call men like him, who they feel come off as very feminine. And he had to tap into that feminine side. He finally faced his fears, and y'all, he did an amazing job. He looked so good. I was just like, you better wear that wig. That wig was that wig was everything. Everything. I'm serious. I said, come through, wig. But anyway, y'all, it ended with Angel and Poppy saying bye to their mother and letting her know what the good news was about their engagement. And they were going to go on ahead and go to IHOP and celebrate by getting a Rooty Tooty Fresh and Fruity honey. And, you know, they went on about their business. And then Blanca saw these 2 kids. And, you know, she ended up calling them over there. Y'all, these were some kids that needed some help. They were both 14 years old. And they came from Denver. And they were kicked out of their home. And she basically did the same exact thing she did when she first had her house established, and asked these kids, were they okay? Did they need some food? All this other stuff. They had nowhere to stay. They had been staying at the piers and doing whatever they could do to survive, dumpster diving, stealing, and everything else in order to eat and have somewhere to live. So now she has at least 2 kids that are in her house again. So Pray Tell ended up taking all of them to wherever they're going to go and get something to eat. But y'all, that was the end of the episode. It was a really good episode. It was just a little bit longer than it normally is. So that's why my review of this finale, of course, was a little bit longer. So I hope y'all were able to bear with me. I hope y'all were able to, you know, kind of stick with me, because y'all know how long-winded I could be anyway. But I really wanted to get a lot of those details in, because a lot of good and juicy stuff happened this episode. Anyway, y'all, I'll be back for another review when, I don't know, because the most be going on. But anyway, I thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for my new subscribers. Thank y'all so much. Like this if you want to, comment if you want to. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about it down in the comment section. But anyway, y'all have a good one, and I'll talk to y'all and see y'all later. Bye.